Okay, Piers, I'm ready.
Piers, really good to have you on our program. I guess off the bat, who's going to win this election?
You know, it's going to be unbelievably close, exactly the same as most recent American elections. If I was a betting man, which I try not to be, I would put my money on Trump. This time I just feel, just anecdotally, from people I've spoken to in America, that there are people who perhaps have been reticent about Trump before, who are simply not prepared to vote for Kamala Harris. So I think Trump will win, but nothing would surprise me. I mean, Trump has got extraordinary levels of energy for a guy of nearly 80.
So play YMCA. Go ahead. Let's go. Nice and loud.
Here we go, everybody.
I compared him to Mick Jagger, the Mick Jagger of politics. Yes, he does make mistakes with stuff he says. Yes, he sometimes says crazy stuff.
Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
I am the chosen one.
But what you can't deny is that for a guy approaching 80, he has got remarkable reserves of apparent energy. And part of that is because he's never had an alcoholic drink, he's never had a cigarette, he's never had an illegal drug. He's had a remarkably pure life for someone with his reputation.
Piers, you've had a relationship with Trump over time. Have you spoken to him recently?
I spoke to him last week, actually, briefly, yeah. And I had a longer chat with him the week after he was shot. And I got to say, the thing about Trump, which is extraordinary, he is a remarkably resilient individual. You know, I don't know about you, but if I'd been shot at a rally where someone had been on a roof 150 yards away with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle and had actually grazed my ear, and if I hadn't turned my head at the last minute, would have shot my brains out and killed people behind me, you know, would my first reaction have been, as the Secret Service dragged me to the floor, to jump back up and shout, fight, 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 not knowing if there were more shooters at the rally. And then a week later, he appeared at another rally in front of a bigger crowd, which again I thought was a remarkably ballsy thing to do. And I said that on an interview with Fox, and he was watching and rang me when I got back to my hotel. And we had this remarkable conversation all about the shooting, in which he revealed that apparently ears bleed more profusely than any other body part. And you'll be unsurprised to hear his ears in particular bled even more profusely.
More than anyone's. More than anyone's.
Yeah, more than any. My ears bleed more than anybody's ears.
Could this be a vote on woke, do you think, Piers?
You know, it could be a vote on woke. I do think the woke worm has turned in the last 8-9 months. I think that people have got sick and tired of it. They're sick and tired of the sense of joylessness which pervades all the wokies. So I think that Trump is a common sense candidate in that degree. Look, he's not an angel. He's not perfect. He's done many things that I've lambasted him for. But he's a guy that speaks in a common language to middle America in particular in a way that resonates with them. And I think they think he's a stand-up guy and he's a common sense guy.
Why do you think they're reticent about Harris?
I think the thing about Kamala Harris is that she kind of got this gig by accident. You know, this was the thing we didn't expect to happen. This was the October surprise coming in July. Joe Biden was supposed to be the nominee. It was all progressing that way. And then suddenly out of nowhere, there's the terrible debate. Then he resigns. And then rather than go through what I think would have been a better exercise for the Democrat Party, they just coronated Kamala Harris. Now, she'd run before to be nominee and had been a complete disaster and got nowhere. And they seem to have all had collective amnesia. And I've got to say that the more I've heard from her in this campaign, with the exception of the debate where she did well against Trump.
Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
But from the interviews that I've seen, nothing much has changed. There's a lot of word salad. There's a lot of kind of, I want to bring love and joy and sprinkle all that over Americans' heads. Not much meat on the bone of policy. I think Americans in the end will vote with their pocket, and I think that more of them in the end will think that Trump may be better for the economy than she will be.
Do you think Trump is starting to get rattled? I mean, we've seen some of those more personal attacks that you said you don't like in recent weeks of, saying she's mentally retarded as well, attacking Kamala Harris on that level.
Never said that.
Yeah. Is that a warrant on his behalf?
Well, They're saying the same stuff about him. And the thing about Trump, you have to understand, I've known him 20 years. I've read his book, The Art of a Deal. And there's a classic series of lines in there about how his brain works. One of which is, if someone hits you, hit them 10 times harder back. And he's talking about business, not physical violence. This is how he's led his entire life. He's a 50, 60-year New York real estate trader, and they don't get much tougher or, frankly, more capable of spewing complete bullshit than New York realtors. So I think Trump ticks all those boxes. It's his DNA.
The chance for some Americans to vote for their first female president might be a very interesting point and put some final push or momentum behind Kamala Harris at this very end.
Well, Kamala Harris would not just be the first woman president. She's also a woman of color. I think that's a very significant glass ceiling, which America could break. I remember the debate about Barack Obama. I remember people saying, well, America's not ready to vote for a black president. Well, it was ready. It's going to be a knife edge. I'm sure of it. I'll be astonished if it's not. But that's where we are with American politics.
All right, Piers, really good to talk to you on this subject. Appreciate your time.
Well, I'll either look like a genius, a Nostradamus, or a complete half-wit. There'll be no middle ground.
That's what we like about you.
Okay, let's go.
That was a great interview.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Turn the camera off.